Good morning, dear students. How are you all doing today? I wish that you are all doing well and safe at home. Welcome to ABN and PRR College of Science online classes for BSc BCom first year second sem students. Today I am going to give a presentation on how to avoid foolish opinions by Bertrand Russell. The lesson name is on avoiding foolish opinions from your textbook unit 1. In fact, I have uploaded a first video. This is my second video on the same lesson. I want to continue this lesson in the second video. In the first video, I explained to you what is this lesson about avoiding foolish opinions by Bertrand Russell. He observed the society and he wanted to give an advice to the society. People are following such foolish opinions. They are mental blocks, blind beliefs, they are hindrances to their, barriers to their growth in career and in life. So, the author Bertrand Russell said that it is easy to avoid foolish opinions rather than to be a brilliant. And he also quoted even such a great philosopher, Aristotle, also made a mistake. He could have avoided such a mistake just by observation. In the first paragraph, he talked about observation. One can avoid foolish opinions or stupidity, or we can say blind beliefs. They are hindrance, barriers to the growth of any individual in life, in career. So now I continue from the paragraph 3. Look at here. Many matters, however, are less easily brought to the test of experience if, like most of mankind, you have passionate convictions on many such matters. There are ways in which you can make yourself aware of your own bias. Bias means prejudice. Having prejudices. Many matters, many foolish opinions, you can say that, many blind beliefs are less easily brought to the test of experience. Undoubtedly, my dear students, if you observe that there are some, if you come across some blind beliefs or foolish opinions, you can avoid them just with verification, a small test of experience in your life. You can validate those opinions, whether they are scientifically proven, are there any evidences, are there any proofs to believe that opinions are correct. So many matters, many foolish opinions, however, are less easily brought to the test of experience. You can check in your life, in your personal experience. Like most of mankind, you have passionate convictions, strong feelings, opinions on many such matters, maybe any subject matter. There are ways in which you can make yourself aware of your own prejudices, your own bias. You can verify, you can test them whether they are correct or incorrect. Next paragraph. If an opinion contrary to your own makes you angry, that is a sign that you are subconsciously aware of having no good reason for thinking as you do. If you have an opinion contrary, difference of opinion, if you find any opinion different from your own that makes you angry, undoubtedly, if someone, your friend says something, as earlier I mentioned, your friend says that India is, you believe that, we know that India is the second largest populated country in the world, but your friend says no, it is not. This kind of opinion that makes you angry, because you studied in the books, there is a proof, there is an evidence that India is the second largest populated country in the world. But your friends denying the fact, and he makes such comments, he believes that comment makes you angry, because at the back of your mind you are aware, you know very well that you know the reason also why your opinion is different from your friend's opinion. That is the reason why you get angry. If someone maintains that, another example here the poet is also giving to make you understand. If someone says 2 2s are 5, can we accept it? No, because we learned arithmetics. In arithmetic, 2 2s are 4. Anywhere in the world, any part of any corner of the space. And some people say that Iceland is on the equator. This is also contrary opinion. You feel pity rather than anger. Why? Because they are ignorant of the facts. Unless you know so little of arithmetic or geography that his opinion shakes your own contrary conviction, your belief, contrary opinion. Undoubtedly, when some people make such comments, 2 2s are 5, Iceland is on the equator, undoubtedly sometimes you feel pity rather than anger, because they are ignorant of arithmetic as well as geography. Conviction means strong belief, opinion. The most savage controversies are those about matters as to which there is no good evidence either way. Yes, the most savage controversies, difference of opinions, brutal, savage means brutal. They don't accept the facts. That kind of savage difference of opinions are those, what are they? Without evidence. There is no good evidence either way to prove 2 2s are 5 or Iceland is on the equator. There is no evidence to prove that. But still they argue, then you get angry. Better you avoid such statements or those people, just you feel pity rather than anger towards them. Next paragraph. Persecution is used in theology, not in arithmetic, because in arithmetic there is knowledge, but in theology there is only opinion. So whenever you find yourself getting angry about a difference of opinion, be on your guard. You will probably find on examination that your belief is going beyond what the evidence warrants. In this paragraph, he is also giving supporting statements. Persecution, ill treatment, oppression. We talk about oppression in the society. We observe oppression is used in theology. Many theories are there in the society also. There are so many stories. Persecution, oppression, ill treatment. The act of ill treatment is called persecution. Is used in theology, not in arithmetic. In mathematics, we cannot talk about this ill treatment and good or bad opinions, because in arithmetic there is only knowledge is there. 2 2s are 4, 2 5s are 10, 3 3s are 9. It is a science, arithmetic science. There is no difference of opinion in arithmetics, but in theology there may be opinions, difference of opinions. Opinions differ from person to person, from place to place. That's why he says in this paragraph, persecution is used in theology, not in arithmetic, because in arithmetic there is knowledge, but in theology there is only opinion. So whenever you find yourself getting angry about a difference of opinion made by others, be on your guard, always be on your safe side. You will probably find an examination, that is observation. Yes, when he repeatedly saying that observation is nothing but examination. Whenever there is an opinion, if you put into test, if you bring to the opinions into the small easy test of experience, automatically the fact will come out that your belief is going beyond what the evidence warrants. Here what evidence proves or affirms, confirms. Until unless the evidence confirms, opinion cannot be the knowledge. Next paragraph. A good way of ridding yourself of certain kinds of dogmatism is to become aware of opinions held in social circles different from your own. Yes, come to this point here in this paragraph. He is also advising you can keep away yourself. You can keep yourself away from this kind of dogmatism. What is dogmatism? Dogmatism means, I told you, the tendency of laying down some principles as undeniably true. You make some principles, opinions. You believe that they are true, undeniably true. That kind of dogmatism, dogmatism, that kind of principles. Without evidence, without proof, some principles are laid down in the society. If you want to keep away from such blind beliefs or foolish opinions, yes, you can keep yourself away from these opinions. How? What kind of dogmatism is to become aware of opinions held in social circles different from your own. You have to understand, you have to observe, examine what are these foolish opinions, blind beliefs in the society. If you observe, you can keep yourself away from these kind of dogmatism. He is also just giving his personal experiences here. When I was young, I lived much outside my own country in France, Germany, Italy and the United States. Of course, in his lifetime, he lived in many places. When he was young, he traveled many countries. Places like, France, Germany, Italy and the United States. I found this very profitable in diminishing the intensify of insular prejudice, insular, ignorant prejudices, bias, having prejudices, difference of opinions or negative opinions, ignorant, diminishing, decreasing or less. You can say that. I found this very profitable. His travel to many countries. He traveled to many countries. He lived in many countries. That helped him to reduce, to protect himself from this kind of ignorant prejudices. If you cannot travel, seek out people with whom you disagree and read a newspaper belonging to a party that is not yours. If the people and the newspaper seem mad, perverse and wicked, remind yourself that you seem so to them. In this opinion, both parties may be right, but they cannot both be wrong. This reflection should operate a certain caution, alert. So here in this paragraph he says that he traveled many places so that he could kept himself away from this kind of prejudices or foolish opinions. He is aware of the society. At the same time, even he is also advising you, if you cannot travel like the author Bertrand Russell, you just observe the newspapers which belong to the other parties, not your own. Or people, if the people and the newspaper seem mad, you look, because you have a different opinion, observe, strong feelings and beliefs. And the newspapers, when you find newspapers or TV channels or other medias, undoubtedly you feel that yes, they are mad people, mad newspapers, because perceptions vary from person to person. For them also you seem the same, you look like a mad person, your opinions are mad opinions or foolish opinions. So please keep away from this kind of dogmatism, he suggested, he advised here. Becoming aware of foreign customs, however, does not always have a beneficial effect. Yes, not necessarily that you should be aware of foreign customs, what foreigners do, what kind of their beliefs and all. You follow your own society. You may not get benefit out of that foreign customs, because he is giving some examples here. Become aware of foreign customs does not always have a beneficial effect, because he also is a British writer. He might have observed certain things, dogmatism or some strong opinions, prejudices or foolish opinions in his society. May not be the same in India, or may not be the same even in the India, in different parts of India. South India, North Indian beliefs differ from, the practices differ from place to place also. That's why he says you need not to get benefit out of foreign customs. In the 17th century, when the Manchus, I will explain to you who are these Manchus. In the 17th century, when the Manchus conquered China, it was the custom among the Chinese for the women to have small feet, and among the Manchus for the men to wear pigtails. Instead of each dropping their own foolish custom, they each adopted the foolish custom of the other, and the Chinese continued to wear pigtails until they shook off the dominion of the Manchus in the revolution of 1911. So he is also citing one example from China. Manchus, a tribe who in the 17th century who ruled this China until 1911. Even these Manchus practices, it was the custom among the Chinese for the women to have small feet. It was the custom, practice of those people. For women, small feet. For men, to wear pigtails. Pigtails, long hair, locks, either one or two sides. You might have noticed this Chinese people in some movies are also, those who are having long hair, like women, those who are having long pigtails, like pigtails. Manchus, member of people originally living in Manchuria, who formed the last imperial dynasty of China. These are the people, last imperial China. After these Manchus, China has become a republic, China Republic, 1911, after the revolution, 1911. Until that period, this Manchus practice, the Chinese are also followed the Manchus practices. For women, small feet. It is also foolish opinion, they maintain this kind of, and men are having pigtails, long hair, locks, either one or two big locks, a length of plaited hair, pigtails. Instead of each dropping their own foolish custom, they each adopted the foolish custom of the other. Yeah, Manchu's custom, they followed Chinese. And the Chinese continued to wear pigtails until they shook off the dominion of the Manchus in the revolution of 1911. Till 1911, they practiced this kind of custom. Men and women, they followed. So this kind of foolish opinions, blind beliefs. For those who have enough psychological imagination, it is a good plan to imagine an argument with a person having a different bias, prejudices. Yes, dear students, I repeat the same statement. Next paragraph. For those who have enough psychological imagination, it is a good plan to imagine an argument with a person having a different bias. Yes, here he also continuing the same idea of avoiding how best we can manage the people who are having these foolish opinions or imaginary opinions. In this paragraph, he is quoting Mahatma Gandhi as an example. He is citing Mahatma Gandhi's opinion, what he made such a statement, why he made such a statement in this paragraph. Look at this statement. For those who have enough psychological imagination means people who are living in utopia, what we call that utopia, imaginary world. This is also called, in short, in one word, we can say that illusion. People who are in illusion are people who are in hallucination. ILLUSION, illusion. Another word, hallucination. HALLUCINATION, hallucination. A false idea, having a false imaginary belief. For those who are in hallucination or imaginary world, it is a good plan to imagine an argument with a person having a different bias, prejudice, a different opinion. This has one advantage. People who are in an imaginary world, hallucination or illusion, there is one advantage. He is telling that. What is this advantage? We will see. This has one advantage, and only one, as compared with actual conversation with opponents. This one advantage is that the method is not subject to the same limitations of time or space. So maybe the method may not be applicable to the same place or same time. He is suggesting some method. The people who are in illusion, false idea, opinion, those who are having opinion, contrary to your opinion, they are actually they are compared with your actual conversation with opponents. What is this opponents? Your opponents. This one advantage is that the method is not subject to the same limitations of time and space. Here, Mahatma Gandhi deplores, condemns, opposed railways and steamboats and machinery. Yeah, I also heard that Mahatma Gandhi was against to the industrialization. That is why he quoted Mahatma Gandhi's opinion at that moment. Mahatma Gandhi deplores, condemns or opposed railways and steamboats and machinery, technology, science and technology. He would like to undo the whole of the industrial revolution. Undo the whole of the industrial revolution. You may never have an opportunity of actually meeting anyone who holds this opinion. Yes, during those days, you don't find such people, those who are against to the industrial revolution. Only Mahatma Gandhi He opposed, he condemned railways, steamboats, and science and technology, the development of technology in India. Maybe he is having different perception. That's why Bertrand Russell quoted Mahatma Gandhi's opinion here, his belief. We will see why he opposed. He would like to undo the whole of the Industrial Revolution. You may never have an opportunity of actually meeting anyone who holds this kind of opinion, because in Western countries, most people take the advantage of modern technique for granted, modern technology for granted. The rest of the world is following this industrial revolution. They invited the development of science and technology, except Mahatma Gandhi in India. But if you want to make sure that you are right in agreeing with the prevailing opinion, you will find it a good plan to test the arguments that occur to you by considering what Mahatma might say in refutation of them. Refutation, meaning here the action of proving a theory false or incorrect. If you want to prove that Mahatma Gandhi's belief is false or incorrect, you don't find people those days to argue, to discuss with them. I have sometimes been led actually to change my mind as a result of this kind of imaginary dialogue, and short of this, I have frequently found myself growing less dogmatic and cocksure through realizing the possible reasonableness of a hypothetical opponent. Here the author says that he has become less and less dogmatic, and he changed himself away from that imaginary dialogue. I have frequently found myself growing less dogmatic. Less dogmatic. I told you, I explained to you, less dogmatic means having or lay down some principles, following strong beliefs, undeniably true without evidence. So he keeps away. He wanted to keep away from this kind of dogmatism gradually, and cocksure, arrogantly confident through realizing the possible reasonableness of a hypothetical assumed opponent. So here the author says that people, those who are in illusion or hallucination or imaginary world, they always follow these foolish opinions. And one example is quoted that even Mahatma Gandhi also condemned railways, steamboats and machinery and industrial revolution. Maybe those days he might have some different opinion, because India is the largest populated country. Due to the introduction of science and technology, especially machinery, and people lose their employment, their perception. But anyway, the rest of the world, they were following, they invited industrial revolution and developed gradually. So we can also say that whatever we believe in some particular time, they may not be the same in course of time. As time changes, the things also changes. What we believe, our beliefs also changes from time to time. Our opinions change from time to time. That's what he wants to say, that through this paragraph, the author Bertrand Russell. And next paragraph, and he is also using, be very vary of opinions. Be cautious. Vary means be aware of these opinions that flatter your self-esteem, self-respect. Especially you people should be aware of your this kind of opinions. Vary means 18. Be cautious of. Be very cautious of this kind of opinions that flatter your self-esteem. Both men and women, 9 times out of 10 are firmly convinced of the superior excellence of their own sex. There is abundant evidence on both sides. If you are a man, you can point out that most poets and men of science are male. If you are a woman, you can retort that so are most criminals. The question is inherently insoluble, but self-esteem conceals this from most people. We are all, whatever part of the world we come from, persuaded that our own nation is superior to all others, seeing that each nation has its characteristic merits and demerits. We adjust our stand of values so as to make out that the merits possessed by our own nation are the really important ones, while its demerits are comparatively trivial. Here again, the rational man will admit that the question is one to which there is no demonstrably right answer. It is more difficult to deal with the self-esteem of man as man because we cannot argue out the matter with some non-human mind. The only way I know of dealing with this general human conceit is to remind ourselves that man is a brief episode in the life of a small planet in a little corner of the universe, and that for aught we know, other parts of this cosmos may contain beings as superior to ourselves as we are to jellyfish. Okay, dear students, once again I repeat this paragraph. Be very wary of opinions that flatter your self-esteem. Self-esteem means nothing but self-respect. Wary means, I told you, aware of. Be cautious of opinions. Be cautious of opinions that flatter. Praising. Flatter means praising your self-respect. This is the topic sentence in this paragraph. It is a concluding paragraph, my dear friends. Here, the author, Bertrand Russell, wants to say that, yes, please be aware, be cautious of praises. Flatter means praising. Usually, very frequently, we encounter this kind of flatters. You must be very careful regarding this self-respect, self-esteem. Both men and women, 9 times out of 10, are firmly convinced of the superior excellence of their own sex. Here in the society, if you observe, men and women, 9 times out of 10, mostly firmly convinced of the superior excellence of their own sex. Men support men, women support women. That's what he wants to say, that irrespective of evidence, irrespective of proof, and he is also telling that women support always women in all respects. Men always supports men in all aspects and in all respects. There is abundant evidence to make such a statement. He says that there is a lot of proofs, evidences are there on both sides. If you are a man, you can point out that most poets and men of science are male. Yes, if you are a man, you always say that, say great, men are great always, because Most of the poets and men of science are male. Scientists are male. If you are a woman, you can retort at the same time. Retort means, yes, give back answer. Give back answer. If you are a woman, you can retort, give back reply that so are most criminals. So means the men, most poets and scientists are criminals. Women make such a comment. The question is inherently insoluble. Yeah. Is it the question is soluble? Is it possible to solve this debate? This topic is a debatable topic. Men and women always. Men always support men in all aspects, irrespective of proof or evidence. Women also, they give counter, retort, give back, like this negative way. So it is an insoluble question, but self-esteem conceals, self-esteem, self-respect conceals, prevent from. Conceals means here, prevent from this from most people, yes. They know very well. Men means men, not all men. Women doesn't mean all women. Majority may be, majority men or majority women. Like that we have to take. That is why it is a debatable question that most men are poets and scientists, and when women says that no, they are criminals. It is a debatable topic. But self-esteem conceals, prevents this from most people. We are all, whatever part of the world we come from, persuaded. Yes, persuaded. You know the meaning of persuaded? Caused to do or believe something by reason. Believe something by reason. Whatever part of the world we come from, persuaded, believe strongly that our own nation is superior to all others. Seeing that each nation has its characteristic merits and demerits, we adjust our standard of values so as to make out that the merits possessed by our own nation are the really important ones, while its demerits are comparatively trivial, unimportant, small, very small. We always consider our merits are great, and we always ignore demerits of our nation, and we say that each one of us, many nations are there, we say that each nation has its characteristic merits and demerits. We ignore demerits and we say that our nation is great. Indians say, yes, India is great. Americans say, yes, America is great. Like that, even small nations, Libya or Saudi Arabia or Muscat, Oman, many countries are there. Even big nations are okay. There is a reason to say that America is a great number one in the world, Russia is number two in the world, like that. China, now it is, China is also competing with other nations. But they are ignoring their demerits, by ignoring their demerits, and they make such strong statements and foolish opinions, strong beliefs. Our nation is great. Seeing that each nation has its characteristic merits and demerits, we adjust our standards. We tune our mind. We adjust our standards of values so as to make out that the merits possessed by our nation are the really important ones, while its demerits are comparatively trivial, unimportant and small. Demerits are very nothing. Next one. Here again, the rational man will admit that the question is one to which there is no demonstrably a right answer. Yes, if you are a reasonable, good person, rational person, rationally thinking person, you have to admit You can say that to say that our nation is great and excellent, there is no proper proof or demonstrably, showingly right answer to this question to say such a statement. Each nation has its own merits and demerits we have to consider. That is really good judgment or sound judgment. Judgment always should be weighing good or bad, merits and demerits. Then only you can give sound judgment. Then only you can comment. It is more difficult to deal with the self-esteem of man as a man because we cannot argue out the matter with some non-human mind. Yes, he says that, author says that we cannot argue out the matter, the opinion with some non-human mind. With human mind, with rationality, we can say that yes, our nation is good or bad by considering merits or demerits. Our nation is great or not by considering demerits and merits at the same time, at the same level. The only way I know of dealing with this general human conceit. Conceit means here excessive pride. Excessive pride. Having excessive pride is to remind ourselves that man is a brief episode in the life of a small planet in a little corner of the universe. My dear friends, please, I highlighted this statement. It's really, it appealed to my mind. Every human being should remember this one. Before saying that our nation is great, our nation is great, everyone should keep in mind that man is a brief episode, small part in the life of a small planet in a little corner of the universe. Universe is a big one. What are we? What is our country? Where is our country? If you keep in mind that before telling this, our nation is great, other nation is not great. According to the author, he says that the only way I know of dealing with this general human pride, excessive pride, is to remind ourselves, every one of us, we have to remind that man is a brief episode in the life of a small planet in a little corner of the universe. Yes, what is the role? Human life is very small. That too, we live our episode is in our life is a very small, in a small planet. We are living on a small planet in a little corner of the universe, which is placed in a little corner of the universe. But instead of seeing big things or big comments or having foolish opinions or illusions, one should remember this sentence, my dear students. Then only, according to this author, he says that having these foolish opinions is nothing but, it is a hindrance, it is a barrier, it stops your growth. You must develop a critical thinking skills. If you want to develop critical thinking skills, you must verify whatever statement you come across, whatever opinion, whatever belief you are having, you come across in the society. Think logically. Critical thinking means think logically and bring to the test of experience whatever we have gone through, all the point wise, paragraph wise, and some examples: Aristotle opinion, Mahatma Gandhi opinion. Many issues are discussed in this. It's a beautiful essay written by Bertrand Russell. I really appreciate for prescribing this kind of content for students like you, undergraduate students like you. Next one, and that for aught we know, other parts of the cosmos may contain beings as superior to ourselves as we are to jellyfish. Here we have to remember the same, as I highlighted the above sentence, man is a brief episode in the life of a small planet in a little corner of the universe. You should also remember that people who are in other planets, in the other parts of the cosmos, may contain beings as superior to ourselves as we are to jellyfish. For jellyfish we are big, and for other beings in the other cosmos, in other planets or in other parts of the cosmos, we also jellyfish to them. So keep in mind that, and have a broad thinking, and develop critical thinking. Thank you very much for your kind and monumental patience. Please go through these videos repeatedly, try to understand, and write your examinations well. Thank you very much.